Alrighty folks, in this video, I'm going to be talking about why you are losing money with candle confirmation. And I'm going to give you a solution on how to overcome this issue. Because here's the deal, folks. If you are losing money with candle confirmation, you lack consistency, I promise you, I 100% promise you, it comes down to this. It comes down to what I'm telling you here. Because you need to have, and I'm going to show you how to do this, an understanding of liquidity. And we're going to expand on that. You need to have a better understanding of liquidity, of course, like dealing ranges, understanding what dealing range, like whether you're in a premium or a discount, etc. All that stuff helps as well. But liquidity is the big thing here, folks. You got to understand liquidity. So I'm going to go over this deal on GU from the 3rd. So this is from February the 3rd, 2025. All right. So here's the thing. Somebody may look at this. Look at my cursor. You see how that right there has a strong close beneath this low, okay? And also, folks, if you're not familiar with the candle confirmation, then it would be better if you started with the first video, of course, and work your way down the playlist one by one, because this is a little bit more of a advanced lesson, I guess you could say. It's more advanced. So I'll leave a link to that playlist in the video description, to the entire playlist on candle confirmation. But somebody may look at this, right, and be like, oh, look, we got a strong close beneath that right there. That's conviction, that's strength. So as Micah said, we want to see it come down and take out this sell side right here now, where my cursor's pointing. Oh, we want to see it. We got our pivot tested. Look at that. So now I can start hunting for my shift or my 5-minute sweep, my shift, and then I can look for it to come down and take out this low. No. That was not, and I made this very clear when I was talking about this on mic with my mentees in this particular day. This is not a good candle confirmation deal. It is not a candle confirmation deal to the downside. And I'm going to tell you why it's not. So what you need to understand is do top-down analysis. Start from the daily here. When you look at that daily chart, because I do this every single morning. Every single morning I start off by doing this. I go from the higher time frame and work my way down, okay? And the very first thing that I did here is I look at, sure, like the structure, but I look at like what the previous day candle did. So GU came down here into a daily discount and it took out, look right here, look at my cursor. We took out daily sell side right here. This is coming up off of daily sell side. And you see how that closed strong? You see how that candle closed strong right there? So I know that it's going to gravitate to this high because it took this liquidity. It closed strong, showing that it respected it. And then that means that this high right here is going to be the next key level it's going to go for, because it told you it didn't want to move lower. It told you it was respecting this. We have daily sell side right here, the previous low right here, all this liquidity taken, all that liquidity has been taken, and it fails. It fails to displace lower and it closes strong. When you see that, your bias, your focus should go to that high right there being ran out. And here's the thing, pay very close attention. If you get a candle confirmation deal that is opposing that bias, that draw, you do not take it. You do not take it. The key thing here is study the previous candles. Study how they close. And because my bias in this was bullish because of this, because I have a bullish bias, because I understand that it has this liquidity down here, taken, it closed strong, it closed bullish. I understand it's going to gravitate to that high. So it really makes no sense to trust, a strong close at the downside if I have a draw up there, because the higher time frame, the daily, that's going to tell you the true storyline. If I have something on the daily happening that's opposing the 4-hour, I'm going to put more weight on the daily because the daily is a higher time frame. Okay. So I know it's drawn to that level right there. And here's what happens. So look, something else. I know it's drawn higher and it's pushing up here. Look, it's pushing up and then it comes down. And what does it do right there? It puts in that strong close, but notice something about this. I want you to really pay close attention here. You also notice how there's no higher time frame buy side taken. Notice how this thing came down here and we took out all this sell side. Remember what I just told you on the daily chart. It came down, it took out daily sell side. Look at the 4-hour too. You're taking out all this liquidity and it doesn't even have any higher time frame buy side on the 4-hour here either. Look, it's curling up here. Do you see like that swing point put in or that swing point taken? No, your next swing point was up here. And then what happens is it creates liquidity. So it creates that liquidity. So here's the thing, folks. You got that strong close lower right there, but you have several things happening. You have a daily draw up above, which we did the work on the daily to establish that because it failed to displace. And it's taken out higher time frame sell side, no higher time frame opposing buy side taken. And you need to understand that price moves in the direction of least resistance. It moves in the direction of least resistance. So you got to ask yourself that question. Where is the direction of least resistance? If I have all this liquidity taken, because there's liquidity above and below each candle too, remember. So like we clean out that low too. Look at that right there, right there, right there. And look at that close. Look how that thing closed. Look how bullish it is. There is no reason to be looking for shorts in that scenario until that high is taken at least, because that's the importance of top-down analysis. And that's what I do every single morning with my mentees. I start from the daily, I go to the 4 hour, I work my way down this time frame by time frame to get that full complete picture so we can align ourselves with the highest probability candle confirmation deals. So we were talking about how this is not a good candle confirmation deal because I got a draw up above on the daily draw. Okay. And if you folks want a little bit more, if you want a little bit more detail on how to establish that bias, I can make a video on that as well. Let me know in the comment section below if that's something that you're interested in. Leave a comment saying I would like a video on daily bias. All right, make sure you leave a like on the video as well, just so I know that everybody's interested. If that's something that you want to, because it does like tie in real nicely to this. So that because I know some of you probably understand what I mean when I say form that bias, but some of you may not really have a complete understanding about how I personally go about forming my bias. So if you do want a separate video on that, leave a comment below. All right. But that's what it's going to come down to, because if I have that bias that's telling me it's bullish, well then it makes no sense for me to look for a candle confirmation deal that's fighting that. If that draw's intact up above, folks, it makes no sense to look for that scenario, you see? So like I see this thing and I understand right away that it's just creating liquidity up here. Like it didn't take out any higher time frame buy side on that 4 hour chart either. So I know it's just creating that liquidity right here so it can take it later on. Now look what happens here. Look what happens right here. Go to the 1 hour chart, because this is what I do. I go down to lower time frames and then I just work my way down these time frames and step by step here. You notice what was taken out? You remember what I was just telling you on the 4 hour chart about how that created liquidity? There's no higher time frame buy side taken, the daily bias. Here is where we come into a brand new day. Look at my cursor. What does it do? Notice what liquidity it takes. It takes care of Asian session low sell side. Asian session begins at 19 and it ends at midnight. That took care of Asian session lows right after midnight. So think about this. You have that liquidity created up above right here. All right. You have no higher time frame buy side taken. We did the work on the daily to establish the bias, how it respected the previous levels. And now I have this thing coming down here first things first with the Asian session lows cleaned out. Look how that all adds together, because now we have that liquidity to fuel the push up into this buy side up here. That liquidity of Asian session lows fuels that push up. That all comes together, and then that's why price pushes up the way that it does. But candle confirmation is not just, oh, we got a strong close, look for a move lower. Oh, we get a strong close, look for a move higher. It ain't quite that easy. You got to have an understanding of liquidity, and that's what this is, okay? So because of that, I was not interested in that play. A play that I was interested in with EU. So this day, on this particular day, I hit EU, and I'm going to tell you why I hit EU. All right, now EU, here's the thing. EU, it kind of had a similar scenario right there. You see that? It had that strong close to the downside, was not interested. Made that very clear. Real time, that I was not interested. And again, folks, because I say real time because everything that I do, I plug beforehand, right? Or my setups I plug beforehand. And of course, I talk about this stuff on mic with my mentees real time. But if you want to be a part of my free Discord chat where I plug this stuff real time before it happens, so you can, that's not an invitation to follow alerts. It's not an alert chat, but there's a lot of value in seeing and being there with me when I'm plugging this stuff live and we're seeing this stuff unfold live. It makes a big difference and it really accelerates your learning. So if you do want to be a part of my free Discord chat, there should be a link to that in the video description as well. Okay, so make sure you get in there. All right, no ifs, ands. If you want to learn candle confirmation, you need to be in there. Okay, because when you see this stuff a lot and you're following along with me daily, it really just starts to it'll start to click for you with time, and you'll start to get like you'll see how I think about this stuff. Now with EU though, so this thing, it came down like on the daily here too, like it came down into like a daily discount, because if you take your Fibonacci from that low to this high, that's a big deal in range. What happened was this pulled back into a discount, and it rebalanced that daily fair value gap right there. See what I mean? Like you have a little fair value gap right here, as you see that on the daily, that are rebalanced and are respected, and it was coming up off of on this particular day. Now I know somebody's going to look at this and be like, well, hold up though. Does that not have a strong close beneath that low though, Mike? So wouldn't that technically be bearish as per, you know, what you've talked about? Not in this case, and I'll explain. So it goes back to doing our top-down analysis. It is true that that did have a strong close. It's super wicky in respecting that imbalance down there, but technically it did have a strong close beneath that low right there. But no, that is not a bearish scenario whatsoever, okay? And here's why. Go to your 4-hour now, because this is what I do. I start from the higher time frame. I work my way down time frame by time frame to really get that full picture about what's happening here. So then when I went to my 4-hour chart, what I can see here is, okay, there's that daily, and it's coming up off that daily imbalance right here. Do you see any higher time frame buy side taken on the 4-hour? And when I say that, I mean a swing point. Do you? You don't. It came up into a 4-hour premium. If you take your Fibonacci from this high, that low, it comes up into a premium right there, and it starts to roll over right there. But I understood right away that that is not going to be falling through to the downside likely. That is not going to come down to take out this low likely. Okay, you can expect it to pull back because it came up into an expensive marketplace, but there's no higher time frame buy side taken. And compare the daily with the 4-hour. And what we see here, what has more support? The daily. And the daily, because you know somebody might be like, but it came up to an expensive marketplace. So since it came up into an expensive marketplace, was in that range, shouldn't it come down to seek this low now? Since it's like a 4-hour bearish trend? No, because why? Fibonacci. You remember what I just said? Do you remember what I just did a second ago? That's a daily discount. And what did I say a second ago before this? The daily chart has more of a say than the 4-hour. And so if the daily is coming down to a discount, think about this, it's coming down to a daily discount with all this liquidity. Look at all this. Look at all that liquidity, one thing after another taken out on that flush. All that liquidity, all that sales liquidity taken. That's a lot. That's a lot into a daily discount. No, that is not going to continue lower because it has too much fuel already. So what does price do right here? It comes up, does not take out higher time frame buy side, so it creates it. It comes up to an expensive area, and we understand like price isn't like a straight line higher. It can't just, sometimes it will, but most times it ain't just going to press up and take out this buy side. In a case like this, what's it need to do? It's going to create liquidity off a premium. So this thing comes up into a premium, and then it creates that liquidity. It puts in that liquidity right there. You see where my cursor's moving? Right there. So when I see that strong close right away, I know, yeah, I'm not interested in that because I understand that what's really happening here. And I get that. I come to that conclusion by doing top-down analysis, by understanding liquidity. So what I did get right there, there's your candle confirmation deal, because that's aligned with everything that I just said. Everything that I just said. I don't have that hard time frame buy side taken either. That's another huge bonus here. Look right there. Now look at that. Look right here. Look at that candle. See how that closes strong above that? There's your candle confirmation deal right there. There's your candle confirmation deal, folks. You see that? Strong close above that high. That's confirmed. All right. So you know the rules. That's step number one. We got the conviction. We got an opposing draw. All right. We have major liquidity taken. We have an opposing draw. We have our strong close. We have our pivot point tested right there. What else do we need? We need what I call the 5-minute fake run, right? We got it. It's coming down, taking out 5-minute sell side in here. Look, it's coming down. There's your fake run lower. And then what happens? What happens on this? You get a displacement. It initially gives it outside my kill zone, but it was still in a favorable area come 8 o'clock. So I was able to get in. Look at this. There's your displacement. Look right there where my cursor's moving. And then it pulls back into 8 o'clock. And what does it do? It seeks that buy side up above and cleans it out. Smooth follow through. And you get smooth follow through when you have the liquidity back in the move and when you have an opposing draw. The problem that you're making, that a lot of you folks are making, is you're looking for candle confirmation deals once it already comes up into and taking the draw. That's where you're going wrong. You don't have the draw anymore. Like you'll have something like, say for example, you'll have price coming up and have like a strong close, say, but it doesn't matter if it's already taken out significant liquidity. That strong close don't mean nothing. That strong close, I repeat, means nothing if the draw is taken. All right. So like, for example, if, let me simplify it, just really simplify this for you. I know there's some folks that are still maybe a little bit confused about how they can put this into like, kind of like a little bit more, I guess, systematic way to put this into play. Here's my advice. If you want to make it easier, I don't always do this because, again, you can have a draw up above that's not this, that you can have like a bigger draw up above that's pulling price to it. But I'm going to make it super simple for you, straightforward for you. If for a bullish candle confirmation deal, remember how we were forming that bias a second ago? Because we had like I believe on this particular day, actually I had GU as well, had a candle confirmation deal. I might have took it out kind of quickly, but whenever you form your bias, stay with that bias. So for example, if you're looking at GU and you understand that your bias is bullish because it took out that low, it respected it, and it closed strong, and you got that high intact up there, only look for your candle confirmation deals. Only play those candle confirmation deals if that high up there is intact. And look for your candle confirmation deals on the way up into that draw. Once it's taken, disregard it. Disregard it. Once that's taken, just disregard it. Do I trade exactly like that? No, because the thing is, I understand that it can take out a previous day's highs and still reach higher if there's an opposing level up above that it's reaching for. But I'm trying to make this as simple as I can for you, because I know not everybody, you're not the same stage in your trading career as I am. So I really try to narrow that focus for you and give you these tips and form this bias, because this is going to make a big difference, because that's the problem you're having. And this solves that problem. The problem that you're having is you are getting caught in reversal after reversal after reversal because your draw is taken. You can't just trust any old strong close that you see. It doesn't matter if it gets a strong close if that liquidity is taken. And what this does is it ensures that your draw's there. It ensures that you have a draw there, and that solves the issue for you just by doing what I'm telling you right here. All right. So by doing this, it solves that issue for you 100%. Okay. And just only trade in the direction of the draw of previous day's highs and previous day's lows. Previous day's highs and previous day's lows. That's your draw. I didn't say that's your PT. It's not your PT. All right. It's just it's that higher time frame magnet. So you have that magnet pulling price to it. That's what I'm getting across here. And I promise you it's going to make a huge difference if you do that. Okay? Don't give FOMO if you see me doing something that's, like I have a candle confirmation deal turn out this high. Say I have a candle confirmation deal and you see me in chat doing something that's already ran out of high. Don't give FOMO. Don't give FOMO. You can get there. You can branch out. You can do a little bit more as you get more experienced. I'm trying to give you want direction. I'm giving you direction. All right, my advice, take the advice and focus. Focus. Okay? You don't need a bunch of different trades to succeed. Even if it's just like a few solid trades a week, you can make a living with that. You can get rich with that with just a few solid trades a week. Back in the day, this was a different strategy, of course, when I was doing back in the day, but I would take one trade a week on average, on a hot week, 2 trades a week. If you remember, if you've been with me that long, you remember that. And I did just fine. You don't need a bunch of trades every single day. Yes, I get trades every single day, and you can get there as well, but baby steps, one step at a time. If you want another video on bias and a little bit more detail about how to go about doing this, again, leave a comment down below. Can you please make a video on bias? And I will make a video on bias. Make sure you leave a like on the video as well. And yep, I'll get that next video to you if you guys are interested. All right, take care.